Good morning, chat. Let's see what day. What day is it? 42.5. 42.5. That's what it is. Which is growth and self-actualization. Self-actualization. What does that mean? Self-actualization is, I'm going to read this off of Neutrino Design. The fulfillment and actualization of purpose as a natural path whose reward is a healthy sense of self, rather than the power and influence that naturally follow. Growth is that self-fulfilling that naturally leads to influence. And self-actualization as a strictly inner experience that may demand or result in a reclusive nature, inner growth that empowers reclusiveness. What does it all mean? Let's talk about it. This transit, something that I heard another creator, Brayton, which if you're a projector and you're not following Brayton, highly recommend you do that. He's brilliant. He was talking about 42 being a part of this channel of cycles, and that 42 is the thing that either locks you into a cycle or allows you to step into the next cycle. And I really loved this perspective on it, especially coming from a projector, simply because growth, a lot of the time we look at growth and change together, and there's not a lot of people that are discerning about the difference between growth and change, because change is inevitable, growth, but growth is optional. You don't necessarily have to grow as a human being, as a consciousness. It's more so that you're going to change. But if you don't choose to grow, that has to do with cycles in the maturation process, which is recognizing when something has come to a maturity and when it's time to step beyond that or grow beyond that. And so excited for this transit because I've definitely felt a lot of growth. I've felt a lot of change as well, but specifically each transit, and we get about 5 days with each transit, it's an opportunity to look at yourself through that lens. Look at yourself in terms of how well or how good am I at ending cycles that are ready to be ended, and how good am I at recognizing at which cycles need to be repeated, because some cycles genuinely need to be repeated. And I'll say that again, I'll repeat it. Some cycles need to be repeated. Some considerably toxic cycles need to be repeated, if only for the sake that you recognize that this is no longer good for you, or that this is no longer serving you, or however you want to language it. If you're not ready to leave it behind, it must still be doing something for you. And so until you can get real with that fact, I think that's a really important thing to notice about growth and maturity and cycles. A lot of people will complain or they'll have grievances about having to go through a cycle. You see this a lot of like, oh, I thought I worked through this. And the downfall of that mentality, of course, is that all you have is what you have. All you have is the present moment. All you have is this lesson now. And so if you are complaining about the lesson that you have, that means that you're probably not learning from it, which means that's one of the things that has you locked into that cycle. So anyway, we're in the 5th line of gate 42, and it has been feeling good. Made some more music last night, and yeah, hung out with a buddy, and it's my friend's child's birthday, which is great. My daughter's best friend's birthday, and yeah, it's a good time. So what's up, guys? It's kind of like my little morning transit rant. I decided I'm actually, because I'm doing these so regularly, I can actually keep track of what transits are going on while I'm doing these lives, which is something that I used to do. I actually used to do daily transit reports for my Discord, and things have changed since then. There's been a lot of change and a lot of growth since then. Stephen, what's up, my brother? Hello, man of the law. And so, anyway, if you guys got questions about human design, feel free to bring them through. I'm going to be here with you guys for about an hour, hour and a half, answering questions, giving tips. One of the first things that I like to do what I think I'm gonna start enjoying to do because it helps me is let's just do some like regulatory. Gotta sneeze. Regulatory sensory drills. As this is a part of the sensory design collection, which is here to help us physically decondition ourselves. It's the workouts that are missing from human design. It's the what to do, um, and the answer to the question, what am I supposed to feel? Because with human design, a lot of people will feel a bunch of different stuff. They'll feel confusion, they'll feel doubt, they'll feel overwhelmed, they'll feel a lot of things. They might feel excitement, they might feel seen, all of these things. And one of the magical components of sensory design is that we're going to teach you how to tolerate or give you opportunities to tolerate confusion and doubt. A lot of people just run away from it or they collapse under it, but you know that you can tolerate, like you can stand in the confusion and doubt, and rather than being confused and doubtful, you can be with confusion and with doubt. It's the difference between being consumed by trying to solve the confusion or attempting to quell the doubt and actually allowing confusion and doubt to fuel the thinking. Like if your gas tank is full and it's overflowing, that's not a good situation, right? But your gas tank is a lot bigger than you've been led to believe, and your mind and even your body can can realize. And so, one of the first things that I like to do when I wake up is just like super simple eye drills. And again, people will see this and they'll be like, "Is that really helping me?" And one of the ways that you know it's going to help you is if there's some level of challenge in it for you. Like we're going to do something really simple. We're just going to be looking, and actually, I'm just going to start doing it now. So you can feel free to keep listening to my voice. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our eyes up and just as far up as we can, and then I'm going to inhale them and go to the right corner of my eye. And I'm not trying to look up here so much as I'm trying to drive my eyes as hard as I can up into this corner without using my forehead muscles. If you want to bring your eyes back down to the screen and see what I'm doing with my forehead muscles, you want to let your brows be heavy. You can even take your fingers and just kind of like drag them down. Drag your fingers down and your eyes are going up. And I just hang out here for like 2 minutes. Every inhale I take is a smell. Nice long smell, followed by a swallow, which is the missing ingredient for a lot of work, and then a non dumping air, like a cool stream of air. Smelling, swallowing, cool stream of air. And this is helpful on so many levels. A lot of humanity is locked into this lower quadrant of vision, meaning that they're looking at their phone, they're focused on something, they're stuck in focus. And this is one of the ways that you can get yourself out of focus very easily. Now, again, if this is challenging or this makes you nauseous, great. This is literally the thing that is holding you back. In a lot of ways, it's your inability to enter rest and digest, or your parasympathetic nervous system. You're stuck in fight or flight. One of the easiest ways to get out of that is to drive the eyes into the peripheral vision. So it's been about 2 minutes. So I'm gonna exhale my eyes back to center, and then inhale my eyes to the other direction. So now, again, it's not like I'm trying to see things clearly up here. I'm literally trying to push my eyes as far as they can go up into this quadrant. And I'm taking note of what's happening. Like my head likes to turn. And so I'm just going to turn my head against that turn. My eyebrows want to raise. So I'm just going to like let those be nice and heavy. Again, I can even use my fingers and drive them down. And we're just here for 2 minutes, smelling, swallowing, and blowing cool streams of air, tasting the air as it comes out of our mouth. Again, if this is like disorienting for you, you feel like you're going to pass out or you get nauseous, great. Great, because again, everyone's looking for like the solution. You realize that the solution is you dealing with all of that. Deal with the confusion, deal with the self-doubt. And by deal with it, I don't mean like wish it away. I mean, literally train yourself not to be so afraid of it. The only way to do that is exposure. And this will turn on parts of you. This is pushing buttons. Your eye tissue and your brain are made of the same stuff. I always like to say the eyes is the part of the brain that like touches the air. And if you do this for yourself, even just for this short 4 minutes or so, that's been about 4 minutes. Exhale them back to center and then bring them back down. You feel a lot more chill and calm. Guaranteed, promise. Eventually, at least. Hey, Marco, can you give me some relationship advice for reflector and projector? I would love to. Hit me. What's the situation? Which one are you also? And what kind of projector are you with? More information you can give me in this sense, the better. One thing that I would say is it's very important for non-sacral beings and sacral beings, but it's so important for non-sacral beings in relationship with each other to have a strong sense of variability when it comes to sympathetic and parasympathetic, being able to go from fight or flight to rest and digest relatively quickly. Because what happens if you're not able to regulate yourself that way, or you're with someone that's not able to regulate yourself that way, is you both end up looking for each other to help each other, but you both don't know how to help yourselves. This is one of the biggest things for non-sacral beings. A lot of people that are non-sacral, that are in partnerships with other non-sacral beings, have no idea how to help themselves. And because of that, there's just, you're fighting about things that you don't need to be fighting about. Anyway. I'm the projector, 3-5. He is the reflector. Oh, got it. I'm the 3-5 reflector in my relationship. My partner's a splenic projector. Sleep in your own bed. I would go so far as to say never sleep in the same bed unless you're forced to. You have to. Even when me and my partner are traveling, like I will sleep on the couch. That's one of the biggest relationship hacks ever because, again, sleep is where you regulate yourself. And if you're relying on another person to regulate yourself, to get you into relaxation, to get you into your parasympathetic where you can actually relax, you're doing the relationship a disservice because while that is a benefit of relationships, that, in my opinion, should not be one of the primary benefits. If you need another person to regulate your nervous system, eventually that person is going to become a crutch for you. You're going to become dependent. And whenever you're unregulated and they're not there, you're going to have a perfect reason to blow up on them and hate them. So don't make them your pacifier. As a reflector man, one thing that I would invite from you as the projector is to be very accommodating with where the reflector is at, especially if, like I was saying, your guys' nervous systems are not, you're not training your nervous system, because I genuinely believe there comes a time in everyone's human design journey where they realize, okay, it's not enough to just know things about our design and know the little tips and tricks and hacks. We actually have to train our nervous systems, which is done independently. I mean, you can sit in class together, like you can sit in our class together, but it is something that you have to do for yourself. You have to put effort into building tolerance and building a robust nervous system. You can't just rely on your partner for that. That's what's coming through for me mostly, which is Josephine. Kind of sounds like I'm being like, hey, your guys' nervous systems are broken and you need to train them. But most people's nervous systems, it's not that they're broken, but most people's nervous systems are exhausted. Most people's nervous systems are also underutilized. And so my biggest point of counsel for anyone in any kind of relationship and any kind of spiritual journey at all is learn the language of your nervous system, learn the language of your organs, and not only learn that language, but begin to listen and allow those hits, those intuitive senses to guide you. That's one of my biggest goals, is to use this membership to teach people about how to cultivate that. And it's actually very simple. On the surface, it may seem complex, but it's very, very simple. You just keep running away from it or avoiding it or looking for reasons not to, which if you're ready to actually confront that and develop your nervous system, make yourself robust so that things bother you less, come join the archive. The archive is our private membership, and it is not for the weak-hearted or the weak-willed. Unless you have a weak will and you're like, I'm ready to develop strong will, we can help you do that. Anyway, thanks a lot. Yes, we are exhausted. I also know Emerald is the projector. I follow you a long time. Me also share a birthday 10 March. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I'm on the 9th. That's great. Well, anyway, thanks for the question. The more that I do a lot of these sensory drills, and I still feel so good from doing that drill earlier with you guys. I'll probably do that again. Um, yeah. Oh, say you guys share a birthday. Wow, relationship wise, that is so wild and interesting, especially as a reflector to have a birthday that's the same as my partner's. I can imagine that would be a little trippy. Um, but also, too, another thing for just anyone in general, um, especially reflectors, like walking around, never underestimate the power of a walk. Like, hey, you just want to take a walk, and a walk that is in silence is also a good idea to experiment with, because a lot of the times your words will get in the way of your synchronizing your guys' energies. A lot of people just want to word it up, but if you just take a walk with someone and instead of having a chat, you just like vibe out with them for a little bit, that can be very helpful. Does human design have anything to say about capitalisms or systems in the economy? Roro, your questions kick so much butt. I'm so stoked to have you in here. But you're very welcome to bring some of these questions to the archive because this is the kind of stuff that I love to, you know, spend 15, 20 minutes drafting up ideas. Again, I speak because I want to understand myself, not so much so that others can understand me. And so writing and speech are very different for modalities of communication. And anyway, yes, human design has actually quite a bit to say about capitalism and the economy. Essentially, what human design says is that our entire economy, or pretty much our entire economy, is purely based in not self behavior. So it's based in scarcity. It's based in buy this so that you will attract the right person or get the right job. It's basically a whole game of convincing people that they're not enough, and it's emotional manipulation to the highest degree, especially as salespeople, because it's not so much about what you say and who's listening. It's more so about who you are. And so a lot of the economy and brands in general, brands, if you could think about it, are like chameleons. It's like, what's our product? What's our service? What brand do we need to build so that people see who we are, so that they trust who we are, so that they buy from us? And it's like, yeah, it's manipulation. It's behavioral analysis. It's profiling your target audience. It's speaking in a way that reaches your target audience, and so it's very manipulative. But at the same time, it can be used as a powerful force for good. It just most of the time isn't because it's so much more profitable to not have the consumer so much as in mind. Couldn't agree more. I usually say that about marketing. Sounds like HD says capitalism, a lot about capital. Is there a better system? I genuinely, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like in tribal systems, which are like families, it's like if anyone in my family needs money, they get money from me. If they need anything at all, they get things from me. And so capitalism, in my opinion, is attempting to solve a problem of how do we get people the things they want by convincing them that they need it. And one of the reasons why I believe capitalism, in a way, there's so much greed and it's allowed to flourish is because the breakdown of the tribal infrastructure and networks. People can't rely on each other anymore, and so because of that, there's a lot of mistrust and even like trusting more so in strangers than the people that you physically come into contact with. So in other words, it's all pretty skewed at this point. And so there's one of the things that I've recognized as sort of a silver lining within the capitalistic structure is when and I'm doing my best to run my business this way, is where not only are we doing things at an affordable price, we're doing things in a way that is not seeking to create more dependency. Like I don't want people to be in the archive forever needing our videos and needing our counsel. I want them to be in there because we're all friends and we have a good time together. Right? What does human design have to say about figures like Jesus? So Jesus is actually part of the Godhead wheel. Um, when it comes to gods and entities, demons and angels, human design essentially says that all interactions with those types of figures are actually just interactions with disembodied personality crystals, rogue bundles of essentially people that hadn't passed on and had the proper funeral rites, that all of the minds of the gates essentially sort of like clump into these bundles, and then they are perceived as gods and aliens and demons and ghosts, entities, stuff like that. Now, those are not necessarily two separate things, but in terms of what we have with the Godhead, is there's 16, essentially 16 archetypes, which is just four within four. Because this is all math and geometry, and Jesus fits into the quarter of duality, which is, I think it's duality. Let me just make sure about that. There's a lot of information there, but you can go and look up the Godhead in human design, and you'll be able to find it. Yeah, Christ is in duality. Gate 57, intuition. 48, the well. 18, correction, and 46, the determination of the self. So every 4 gates, there's a Godhead that rules those gates. And I remember making a video a long time ago saying, like, which God should you worship based off of your human design? And the way that you figure this out is you just look at your personality sun. Thank you for the heart. Look at your personality sun, and then look up this image, the Godhead wheel, human design, and you'll find the number that is your personality sun. So for me, it's 22. It's on the quarter of initiation, and it's Mithra is my Godhead. And the way that human design talks about these Godheads is essentially your mind is a fractalization of a Godhead or an oversoul group. Like your soul is just a sliver of a greater soul. And so these souls, or the Godheads, are effectively like manifesting themselves through your mind, which is why the mind is very comparative. Because in a lot of ways, gods are very jealous. If you worship one god, then you can't worship another. They're very exclusive to that. And so, and it's not about worship, it's literally about the mind. So it's like, okay, so Minerva is yours. Nice. I love how you answer my question before you see them. Oh, of course, Garrett. I got you. So my son is 4. And if you want to tell me, I can look some of yours up, because I have the Godhead right here. But you can, again, you can find this image online pretty easily. Just look up Godhead human design. So you're Thoth, Garrett. What other? Send me some numbers. 4 is Thoth. Again, all you need is your personality sun. It's the top right. If you're on my website, it's the top right. If you're on my report, it's on the top right. Which I don't know if anybody is doing body graphs differently, but I've been seeing some new sort of human design systems come about, and it makes me laugh. And I'm not going to say the names of them, but it's just like the truth is always going to be in the body, and it sort of ties into how these Godheads play into it, because effectively your mind is a fractalized consciousness, a fractal of the Godhead. And so it's helpful to learn about these Godheads because it sort of gives you some context to why your mind operates the way that it operates. Each of these Godheads in their in their expression or their perception of reality. Like they have a role to play, um, and it's your personality. So again, it like quite literally is your mind. Um, Lamb. So if you go to my website, generate your body graph, you're gonna see two columns. So you're gonna see a red column that says design. It's not the one we're looking at. You're gonna looking at the personality column, and it's the very first number at the top of your personality column. It's gonna say like 13.2 or 14.5. It's gonna be a number followed by a dot and then another number, um, which I just need that first number. My son is 46. Oh, 46. That's Christ. So it's like, for instance, if you have Christ as your Godhead, your mind, your personality, your conscious self is very much so going to be based in the story of Christ, or you're going to find a lot of parallels in the way that your mind thinks with the story of Christ. And the benefit of knowing that is being able to consider when, wow, I feel this really strong pull to like be Christ in my life, but maybe your strategy and authority is like, oh, we definitely are not going to do that. And so it's a beautiful way, because it's like, if you imagine the Godheads as being these sort of zoomed out energies, archetypal energies that are incarnated in physical bodies as a way of navigating reality at a more zoomed in level, there's a lot of cool stuff that can go on with that. So the numbers mean a lot of different things. If you get one of my reports, it'll literally just tell you about the number, all of the numbers, not just the first one. But those are the gates, are one of the biggest parts of human design, which are archetypal energies. So, okay, so what's 3.4? Let's look you up. This is something, again, anyone can do this. All you have to do is look up Godhead, Faces of the Godhead, Human Design, and you'll find this wheel. Then you look for your personality sun, which is the top right placement. It's a little circle with a dot in it, and then it has a number in there. And you just need that first number. Janice. Cora C. Janice. My chart has a soul purpose and a life purpose, which sun is the personality sun. So there's only one personality sun. It's usually black, and it's literally the top one. It's a circle with a dot in it. I don't know what you're talking about with the soul purpose and life purpose. Probably would be life purpose. That sounds like some like quantum human design stuff or gene keys. So your personality sun won't change much if you know at that point, with the point that you have, your personality sun is going to be 43. Whether it's 0.3 or 0.2 or 0.4 might be a little bit different, but let's see who's 43. This is good, like eye exercises for me. Keep my head straight. Scanning 43. I'm only going to do this for like another 5 minutes because I'm already... 43 is Hades. Yes, Cora, that's... What did you say? 3 is Janus. And we got 61. 61 is Keepers of the Wheel. So again... And I'm not going to tell you much about the Godhead, because it's really more so, just like everything that I do, it's like you have to be the one to get interested in this and use the little breadcrumbs that I'm leaving to find your own way. Now, this is one of these things that is fascinating, and it's all awareness until you learn how to actualize the information here. Oh, Garrett, bro, I'm trying to make a full-on video game about human design. So do you have the exact site? It doesn't come up for me. Lindsay, I don't have it posted anywhere either. um, Godheads, but I could just make a course on it or something. So we're on the same page. If a teacher doesn't send me back to myself, that is a red flag. Yep, I operate and work not to create dependency. How do you figure out affordable? For instance, I was working the door of our mutual acquaintance Haley, so my job was made sure people paid to enter, which was the DJs, but folks came from Ukraine. It's a tough position because they don't have the money, but they wanted to dance and be with community. It's hard to define affordable. Totally, I totally get that, Roro. 33. Let's look you up while we're at it. Um, 33. Affordable is a great question because for me, it's it's two parts, right? It's like what can you actually afford? Ma'at, your ma'at, your personality crystal at least is ma'at, Roro. Um, but it's like there are certain situations that I'm open to considering giving people breaks. It's very rare because our membership is only $37. And if you can't find $37 to do something that you really want to do, that like there's a problem to that you have to solve on your own before you do that. Like if there's not someone in your life or some way that you can go make $37 to get access to the archive to start learning, um, it's very rare that you will actually be unable to do that. And there have been times when people have told me their stories, and as much as I want to like help them, one of the best ways that I can help them is let them know like, hey, look, you're I'm not gonna enable this idea that you have about yourself that you can't make $37. I'm not going to enable it because that puts you in a position where you are so weak and helpless that you can't do basic stuff for yourself. That's one of the first teachings is like, hey, and I've actually, it breaks my heart because it's like part of me wants to be Robin Hood, but like this is how I Robin Hood. This is how I'm giving back. Anyone can ask me pretty much any question, and as long as I'm in a mood, I'll pretty much talk about it. And then you can get like micro readings to a degree here, more so if you're actually already in the archive. But it really is like this is where internal authority comes into play. What is affordable? Right? Like the situation you're talking about is like, oh, should we let some Ukrainian people in to the DJ set? It's like if your internal authority says go for it, then go for it. The fear of like, oh, my boss is going to come down on me or something like that. This is where the larger issue is when you discover that someone is out of alignment with your own values. What do you do then? Do you continue to work for them or allow them to pay you for the work that you do? Lot of interesting concepts here, aren't they? Crystal, let's look at yours. Sorry, I didn't see you there. 19. 19 is also keepers of the wheel, Crystal. So again, once you figure out what your Godhead is, something that is really helpful is to just go look at the wiki page or go look at the mythology. Like who were the people that were worshiping them? And look at it as zoomed out as you can, because again, your Godhead, your personality sun shows you who your Godhead is. And if your Godhead, if you don't know anything about your Godhead, go go learn about that Godhead. Not as like a this is the God you're supposed to worship, but this is like the father of your mind or the mother of your mind. This is the archetype that your mind sort of descended from or is fractalized or emanates from. And with that awareness, you can start to see when your mind, because again, the mind in human design is just a passenger. We're not this creator consciousness. We can create, but most of the time it's in co-creation. If you really look at it, no one just manifests, not, you have to co-create with people. It gets me like so riled up when I see people talk about creator consciousness as like as though like you alone on an island could build a castle. And it's like, I mean, you could, but it's like you're doing it in co-creation with not just other people usually, but the land and working with the raw materials that are there. I can't find the number. Is it beside the head? It would be 32. So Gilas, if you look in if you generate on my website, which if you're having trouble finding it, come to my website because there's a lot of weird body graph generators out there. It's the right column. It says personality, and it's the very top number. It's got a circle with a dot in it, and then yeah. I wish I have a large split. That doesn't matter either. It's like just because you don't have definition somewhere doesn't mean you don't have those parts in your body. You have everything in your body. However, not all of it is like plugged in with each other. So if you have a large split, essentially what that means is maybe your spectrum of the way that you resource information is larger. Like for me, I have one of the widest spectrums ever. Depending on who I'm with, I'm going to be able to access different information, not only about myself, but also about other people in the environment. And learning that dynamic range has very little to do like with your blessing, with your born imprints and who you're raised by. Especially if you're using a smartphone. If you're using a smartphone, there's very pretty much no excuses to why you can't resource enough information. And again, I'm telling you where all the best stuff is. If you choose to trust me and experiment with me, and the people that have been following me for a long time, they know that I'm like, if I find something better, I'm gonna go with that. That's just how evolution is and life is. Um, and I'm a reflector of that. But the wider your spectrum in terms of like range, like for me, fully undefined is like the amount of configurations that I go through in a day are, they'll blow your head up. And they'll blow your head up because you haven't had my experience. You haven't had to undergo the type of training that I've put myself through to be able to walk around and feel confident and not feel pulled in 1,000 different directions. Because I do still feel pulled in 1,000 different directions, but that's the point of having an intention. An intention is I'm going to walk that direction. And what happens? Life happens. So I end up walking this direction and I say, okay, I'm returning to my intention. Because if I end up walking this direction, I let something pull me off. I can't say as an excuse, oh, but I intended to go there. But where did you end up? Oh, I ended up over here because this thing pulled me. So you let that thing become more important than your intention. You let some external thing override your internal authority. For most people, it's a somatic problem. It's a physical problem. It's not, nothing's wrong with your mind or your emotions. It's a physical problem. Because when the intention is to go here, but the wind is blowing me in that direction, one of the big pressures or autopilot things that turns on is, oh, there's tension. This is uncomfortable. So if life is pulling me in this direction, this must be the direction that I'm willing to go, right? People say follow the path of least resistance. It's like, talk about resistance when you end up where you don't want to be and you're upset and you're wondering why. That is so much resistance unnecessarily, so much tension, so much confusion. And it's like the magic is in the in between. It's in the when you're deviating from your path and you recognize it. And I guarantee most of you can recognize when you're deviating from your path or your intention. Oh, I wanted to go to sleep early. I wanted to read an hour a day. I wanted to do this. I don't want to be on my phone. You can recognize it with your mind, but your body doesn't respond. And there's a lot of reasons that could be, but the main reason is because your mind thinks it's better at making decisions than your body. And this is where human design can come in, because it shows you what parts of your body, and anywhere that you have defined centers, literally in the archive, we have classes for all the centers. And if you have sacral, root, head, and ajna defined, what I would do is join my membership immediately. It's only going to cost you $37. Go watch those classes and learn how to feel those organs. Like, so many people have defined hearts, but they have no idea how to feel their own heart. And it's actually very simple. Like, take a deep breath, expand your lungs, let yourself get big, exhale all your air. Now use your arms like a cast, hug your ribs, and instead of expanding outward, expand inward. Swallow, blow a cool stream of air. That pressure that you feel on your heart, that is the sensation that your body needs to start to see as authority as opposed to the external pressure. This is the difference between like your higher self or your inner knowing guiding you and something external, or you having to go to a psychic every time. Like the reason why people can't read themselves, whether it's tarot cards or anything like that, it's not because like, oh yes, I can't. It's because your body is the mirror. You're looking externally for something that even if you look internally, it's not going to appear as an image for you. Human body has baroreceptors and thermoreceptors. They sense pressure and they sense heat. Another thing about this, like people talk about having blocks in their throats, do this. Puff your cheeks out like a chipmunk. Smell, swallow, and then breathe out the nose. And if you have any trouble keeping the air in your mouth, again, you don't have a mental or an emotional disorder. You have a physical dysfunction that can be fixed with training. Focused attention causes dielectric fields to self-align and spin toroidally, causing negatrophy. Man, you are a scientist, Nathan. Focused attention. And this is what we're talking about. It's the ability to go, because focus and the mind are not bad. They're just not the whole picture. It's like, it's just part of your system. It's the front. It's this. When we get into peripheral, when we get into parasympathetic, rest and digest, we get out of fight or flight into rest and digest, into the place where we can actually relax, where our body can actually start to heal itself. This is the thing we want to be able to practice, and this is what we do in the archive. We'll do like for 2 minutes and then spend another minute just regulating. Heart rate variability, mental recall, like there's so many different areas that this touches, and it's literally just training your senses. And for those that you don't know, this is how pretty much every system operates. There's 3 components to it. There's gathering information. We do that with the senses. We call it afferent feedback. It's seeing things, tasting things, smelling things, getting things into the body. Senses are like mostly right here. And where does it go? Through the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, through the trigeminal nerve to the vagus nerve. You don't have to know these terms, but it gets into the body, and then what? It has to be swallowed in where it can be processed, which is the second step. Second step is processing the information that you're getting. And the third step is called efferent feedback. Based off of me seeing a tiger over there and my organs wanting to survive and not be dinner, I'm going to turn my head and run away. And this is how everything works. This is how cars work. This is how computers work. But primarily, this is how bodies work. And most people have issues with afferent feedback, seeing things clearly, and processing of it. And most of the time, it's purely the fact that they are not seeing things clearly, that their processing is all messed up. And it's because, again, everyone lives with blinders on. This is our conditioning. This is our paradigm. This is us being taught to avoid discomfort or make life more comfortable for ourselves. This is mom and dad's way of thinking. This is where conditioning comes in. This is your ex-partner's way of processing emotions or dealing with stress. This is your boss's, the things that inspire your bosses. And it's all coming from the external world and other people. Oh, summer. Wonderful. Sorry, I didn't get to that sooner. We can hear now. Great. Great, great, great. Yeah, if you can't hear on YouTube, just come join the archive, because we have a special stream for my archive people. I think he just shared how to do Rasengan from Naruto with the dialect toroidals. Oh, is that alternating spinning toroidal fields? Yeah, and it's so beautiful because, like, for instance, even the arm, Like I can take my this bone. Is that called the humerus? That go this way. This is going this way. This is going the other way, and then my hand is going backwards. There's all these spirals built into the body. And so most people are looking to fix their efferent feedback. They're fixing their mechanics. They're doing yoga. They're doing all these things that have to do with the expression, but they're not doing anything to make their senses sharper or take the blinders off. They're just working on, oh, how do I make the display nicer? How do I paint the outside of the house so that people don't freak out when they go inside and it's a wreck? Like, how common is it for people to be dating and they're hiding who they truly are from the person that they're dating because they think that person won't like them? How often will somebody use not only just their physical senses, but also some extrasensory senses? They'll feel, okay, they'll process something and be like, that's not someone I want to be with. But because the other person looks good or they look good with the other person, they like won't cut it off. Info from Dan Winter, if curious. Totally, yeah. I mean, I don't know too much about him, but this is the thing: is I'm not very interested in the work of other people, straight up. And it doesn't mean I'm closed-minded. It just means that if I go that route, my intention gets pulled away. I get too drawn into their work as opposed to staying with mine. And some people might see it as closed-minded, and for me, it's just the way that I live my life. Not to say I'm probably not gonna look it up unless it comes up more. That's way of my life. But anyway, oof, I always thought of this as just the cleaning the windows, but your house is a mess. Right. Yeah, like you start with the inside, and you start one of the first things, and as human beings, we start with developing this what's called the midline. It's the digestion, it's swallowing. What's the first activity that every human being does when they're first born? Chat, let me know. What is the first activity as an infant? What is the first thing that we do? Breathe and swallow. Yep. And poop. And cry. Like, they're very simple. And yet, how many people are breathing consciously? How many people are looking to expand their capacity with just breath? No, they're looking for breastfeeding. There it is, Stephen. We're breastfeeding. We're learning how to process reality. And when you're a baby, it's a lot. It's like, imagine being in like paradise. Just literally paradise. Floating around, getting all the food that you need, and then all of a sudden you're born and you have to go through this like tight little hole, and then you're like, oh god, like it's bright, there's all these weird sounds and smells and sensations, and it's like temperature of air. There's all these things you can't conceptualize, and so you start to learn how to process it. So I notice how my reactions come from a wrong approach / perception about something. How can we change that? You say, read me. Man, you guys are active today. It's lovely. Read me, trust me, it's important. Yeah, I don't know. Like, how do we change that? I mean, I've kind of been talking. I have a whole membership around this. Is you change that by making your senses better, making your processing stronger, and making your efferent feedback, making your movement patterns based off of that. Because, like I was saying, a lot of people are going to step 3, but they're not working on steps 1 and 2. And a big part of why people are so neurotic or messed up or emotionally dysregulated or physically dysregulated is because when they do this, they get nauseous and they say, whoa, I shouldn't be doing that. That's dangerous. That's one of the first things that we learn, is to not hold your breath, not push too hard. We're literally taught, oh, don't hold your breath. Don't hold your face like that because it's going to get stuck. Anyway, Do you feel like the chats are more active based on the current transits? Not necessarily. I feel like a lot of it has to do with what day of the week it is. Like Mondays are usually pretty active, but then also some days I'm just hitting it hard. Today I have lights. I have some different lights set up today, which maybe is adding to that. But I also, depending on what topic I'm talking about, I feel like there's a lot of interest and activity. And I saw someone over here in TikTok ask about pentas, which if you think about businesses, most businesses are not dealing in needs and support, meaning like the things necessary. Like, so there's businesses that make all their money off selling handbags. Like you don't need a fancy handbag to survive. There's very few businesses that are like water, food, buildings, right? Things like that, things that we actually need to survive. And this is where a lot of the economy is, again, based in not self. It's like we're building things and inventing value based off of our mind, which our mind, again, is there's this sort of intangibility to it. There's this sort of never knows actually how to satisfy itself. It's like those people that go do shopping therapy. And so, for instance, they have this paradigm of like, oh, I do shopping therapy when I'm upset. So let me unconsciously create problems with my partner so that I can go do shopping therapy. It's like an endless hole. Businesses are no longer real people being in service to others. Yeah, some of them are, but totally, yeah, most of them are not. Like the logo on my shirt. Is this what you're talking about? Yeah, this is the logo for the archive actually. And there's a lot of things going on in here, but it's like the body graph and the way the human system works. This is essentially a synthesis of the human design body graph and the nervous system, and specifically this kind of like crossed synapse that happens in our system from up to down, from upper processing to lower processing. Because we process information, at least in the brain, top down and bottom up, meaning that you have an idea how something goes, and then there's the reality of how something goes, and they work to condition each other. So if you have an idea of how something's going to go, and then that's how it goes, that reinforces it. If you have a experience of something, then you also create an idea about how it's supposed to go, and they will reinforce each other. But what a lot of people do is they get stuck in the top down processing. They get stuck in the this is the idea that I want to happen, and if my experience is not that, then I'm gonna like search for something else. And the problem with that is that, again, if you have an idea but it's not being experienced in reality, this is where you get a lot of like delusional people that are like, for instance, I want to be strong, but you're not strong. So then you go find people that are weak so that you can feel strong. You see how this is problematic? How long did you train yourself? It's been about 13 years of Reiki training, 10 years of human design training, and really only like 2 years of sensory design training, which I've been doing biomechanics and functional training and martial arts for a long time, but plugging all of that stuff into human design made a world of difference, because as somebody with all undefined centers, as a reflector, people would hit me with these like, oh, it must be really hard for you to be around a lot of people. And I'm like, not, sometimes, but most of the time, not really. And they're like, oh, that's strange. All the reflectors I know are like really sensitive. They can't be around a lot of people. And I'm like, well, it's probably because they don't know how to fight. And I was taught at a really young age how to fight, how to defend myself, how to be deadly, how to protect the things that I love. And that makes me feel safe, so that when people are threatened by something, I'm less threatened by it because I know how to defend against it. I know what it's like to get cut in a fight. I know what it's like to get hit and have your brain rattle around. And now because of that, I know how to not allow that to happen. I know how to move in a certain way that is more adaptable and survivable. You have a great advice and a great teacher. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I've had a lot of great teachers, and my goal is to, just continue to throw glory up. Like, I learned from my body most of all of the sensations that my body has put me through, or that life has put me through. I've learned from those. Like, those are my greatest teachers. And my hope with you saying that is recognizing that, like, oh, you have life is putting you through stressful situations and through all kinds of stuff. And if you can convince yourself, even just for a couple moments, instead of collapsing, instead of running away from it, to just face it, like, you can cultivate this as well. So I want to find what I really want to do and how I can start doing it from now, like what I really want to do in love. Everyone wants to find that. And I guarantee you, if you follow what I'm talking about, come train with us in the archive, you won't have to search for it from the mind. You'll look for it in the body. And that's what people do, is if they don't know how to find it in the body, they'll start looking for it externally. If you can't find security from within, you're going to look for a partner to make you feel secure. If you can't establish a sense of worth from within, you're going to try and find a job so that you can prove yourself. Every time I see you, I get great advice and feel more at peace. Thank you for the positive vibes. You guys are super welcome. I'm just, again, this is like, I don't want to be alone in this, guys. And I get that it takes time, but what took me 13 years, I can help you do in 18 months in the archive, in the membership. And it's not like there's a guarantee, but guarantee, if you spend 18 months with me in the archive, and that will cost you less than $500. If you spend 18 months with me in the archive, you will be transformed. You will be transformed. You got to take the classes and stuff, but your whole shit will just transform. And I'm not saying that as like wishful thinking. Like, that's happening for people in like 90 days. In a month, people are having massive transformations, because a lot of you are, again, searching to fix something in your external world. I want to work a job that I love. I want to have a partner that loves me. But the reason you don't have that is because you can't see clearly what that is. So the archive is pre-recorded classes plus live classes. Yes, that's exactly what it is. We actually have one today at 1 p.m. Hawaii time. What is your life works in the Gene Keys? It's 22. I'm pretty sure it's 22. It's the personality sun, right? Life's work 22.3. Which 22 I know has a very long chapter in the Gene Keys. Kind of specific, but I'm a splenic projector, and you're also in the archive, so I will do specific for you, Crystal. Also an independent artist, sing, write, perform. I had this revelation in December with outside affirmation that I have a natural gift for helping other artists see themselves, get out of their own way, big time. I've also had some artists come to me in the past for this unknowingly, but I work a 9 to 5 that is draining me quite literally. I'm trying to do what I can with my current job, at least work around it. I recently started posting some TikToks on the topic, but do I just keep waiting, build it until they come? Any advice on how to move through this? Also very excited to be in the archive now. Crystal, yes, 100%. I would say when it comes to being a projector in business, a lot of the strategy and authority stuff doesn't really apply to business, I'm learning, because your business is not a living, breathing human being. You are. And so what my advice to you, or invitations to you, would be to, number one, with your current job, find ways to make it more sustainable. Like, give yourself permission every 2 hours to just lay down for 2 minutes at your 9 to 5. And again, if you think that's impossible, I want to challenge your beliefs, and, just start doing it. Don't necessarily ask for permission. Like, and a message to all projectors: don't wait for an invitation to take care of yourself. If you feel like you have to take care of yourself, you missed the invitation from your body. This is the point of having an internal authority, even if you're a mental projector. Having an internal authority, a sense of your internal organs, when your heart and lungs need to repressurize, when your pelvic floor needs to repressurize. Give yourself 2 minutes every 90 minutes to either lay down or do some kind of repressurizing drill. Even if it's like, even if you're working like a service job, like if you work at a restaurant or something, go to the bathroom, spend 2 minutes sitting on the toilet, not pooping, but repressurizing your head and ajna, because again, a lot of the soul suckingness of a job is literally just lack of internalized safety. And it's this mental narrative that just goes and goes and goes until you pressurize it and push it down into your body. And then what you really have to, once you get through that, right, then you can start to embrace the fact that it's like, how, what a blessing to like have a job or have a place of employment, even if it's draining you. Like, it allows you to do all the things that you need to do in order to survive. Then what I would say is, yes, build it and then they will come. Make videos of, and you could probably visualize this with me. I'm exhausted after working my 9 to 5, but my business isn't going to build itself. That's literally what it is. Business is one of those things where it's like you have to do it tired, you have to do it exhausted, you have to do it when you don't want to, because the reward of becoming a coach or becoming somebody that's worth following or giving advice or helping people get out of their own way, it doesn't come to people who have yet to prove to themselves that they can still do it while they're tired. And a lot of the training in the archive will inherently help you with this, because what happens, right, again, is, well, let's say you're getting off work and you're tired, but you have to, you haven't made a post today. It's like you can literally just make a video about getting on, like getting home from work, being tired, but still wanting to build your business because you know there's somebody out there with a song that's going to save people's lives and you want to help them, right? As a projector in business, you're a guide, but how capable of a guide are you? And how real of a guide are you as well? So a lot of the content and things that you can make for your business, number one, I would just suggest with starting to do one-on-ones with people, like get a calendar. I have software. If you want to use the software that I use, message me, because will happily share the softwares and the templates and all the stuff that I use. It's part of the software is that it's really easy to share with people. But basically, you get a calendar and a website set up. You make a little video. You set the calendar up, set it so people can pay you, and then you just start doing one-on-one sessions with people. Now, this is just my advice because this is how I built my business, and my business is like super organic, and I love it. And there were times when I didn't want to do it, especially like when it comes to posting. But the reason why you want to start doing sessions with people and start charging is because you want to put yourself into that situation where it's like you get to see what the results of your work are. You get to see at the end of the session if the person is filled with tangible excitement because they now have a system or a guide that they can follow, or whether they're just like, oh man, I just like fluffed that person up the whole time. And if that is where you're at, again, it means ultimately that you need to do a better job of guiding yourself. And so that's what this all comes back down to. But with the job thing, I get it. It's challenging, but it's like business is fucking hard. Business is really hard. And I feel like a lot of people's expectations of how to run a successful business is like, oh, we have AI now, or I can just be a clipper. Like, there's so many videos online. It's like, I'm literally printing money off blah, blah, blah. Like, no, they're not. They're grinding. They're grinding. There's very few things where you don't actually have to, like, how you say, work through the tiredness or work through the exhaustion. Because there's been times when I've wanted to give up and I just didn't let myself because I had too much riding on it. And this, again, is where your internal authority gets tested. This is where your intention gets tested. Like, if you have a gift to the world, what are you willing to suffer for? If there's people out there with songs in them and you're the one that's going to help them, how are they going to find you? How are they going to work with you? And it doesn't mean you have to have it perfected. Like I said, especially for me, and yeah, you and me are 3 5s, Crystal. So it's like literally your goal ought to be, how quickly can you get a calendar link up and start accepting some kind of exchange for people to do sessions. And then all of your invitations for people to do work with you are just going to be essentially, it's like, hey, this is how I worked through this block. I was having this block in my artistry or this block in my creativity, and I just like decided I'm just going to sit through it, or I'm going to run at it, or I'm gonna like kick this punching bag, or like scream into this pillow. Like, what are the things that are working for you that are helping you move through those blocks that are going to qualify you to even help other people? And the whole like I keep coming back to the 9 to 5 thing, because it's like it's only draining you because you've been taught, or you haven't been taught how to reinforce your internal authority with collaboration from the external authority. It's just either the environment is giving to me or it's taking from me. It's not considering I'm taking from the environment and I'm giving. And I guarantee you, with your job, there's things that you're taking that you are now taking for granted, and there are things that you're not giving because you're taking it for granted. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but maybe it will. Um, Damn, yes. Okay, got you. That's it. That's accurate. One of the most important things to realize about human design and sensory design and everything that we do here, it's like the answer is very rarely running away from where you're at. Sometimes it is. Truly. Sometimes it get away from it. Most of the time, what you're really doing by running away from it is you're reaffirming this idea: I can't handle it. It's too much for me. I'm not strong enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not worth. I don't believe in anything. And if you don't believe in anything, that's fine, because all the stuff that they give us to believe in is bullshit anyway. And so here you are, like looking for something to believe in, looking for something to love. Start with your body and start with the world that you're in. And if you are having trouble loving the world, change your focus. Like if you're focused on all the people that are, injustices happening to them, like remember that justice system also puts criminals that are objectively doing terrible things behind bars. The monetary system, the medical system, if you're focused on the medical system, like poisoning our people, like remember there's people that get in accidents and their lives are saved by those same medical people. Shift your focus. Nothing is inherently evil or inherently good. I believe in that hair. Yeah. As a man with long hair, a lot of people be like, "Oh, is it like a spiritual thing?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, it's a spiritual thing." You know how often I have to brush this? You know how much like care and it takes? And it's also, I use it for sensory mechanics as well. I'll do stuff like this. I'll like twist it up and I'll pull it, or I'll wrap it around my head and I'll pull it and I'll use that as resistance to train my neck. So, a lot of different uses for the hair. It feels like silk, yeah. Came at the right time. You know how it is. You know how it is. Great question though, Crystal. And again, for everyone that's joining the archive right now, and for anyone that's new in the archive, remember, like confusion, doubt, struggle, all of these things are going to show up. The difference is that when they show up now, you have a support system that says, "Hey guys, this is what's supposed to happen. When you do this, you might get dizzy. If you get dizzy, great. If you don't, you're not putting much effort into it. You're afraid. And if you are afraid, that's okay. Work up to the exposure. Work up to the fear. Work up to the intensity. It's not like go 0 to 100. It's like learn how to pick up the pace. But you have to learn how to pick up the pace because, again, life is not getting any easier for you. You're either getting stronger or you're getting weaker. You can't just stay the same. You're either getting stronger or you're getting weaker. You must be fun at parties. I don't go to many parties, but the parties that I do go to, I have a lot of fun. I hope other people do too. I love laughing. I think laughing is one of the most incredible things in the world. And it can be used to bypass stuff. I totally get that. But part of laughter is these contractions in your solar plexus. A lot of those contractions help to process stuff. They're processing what you're seeing, what you're tasting, etc. Hair is definitely a thing. I literally chopped mine off because I was using it as a way to hide. Ooh, that's very transparent and powerful of you. I thought about that. I remember thinking that, oh, if Marco is a party, Cha Cha, love you. Um, I thought about when I was becoming a dad that, oh, I'll cut all my hair off. But then I realized, like, that's not what I wanted to do. I was just looking for some thing to do rather than, like, build my business. I was like, I got to reinvent myself. I still didn't think I was worthy to be a dad. Do you astral project? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Astral projection is one of the first skills that I learned because I thought it was so cool. And nowadays it's I don't want to say it's trivial. It's just not I don't I'm less interested in astral projection and more interested in like descending into my body, like internalized astral projection, like going into like the tips of my fingers or the tips of my elbows to see why there's so much pain with this motion. And in doing that, the traveling element, I seem to be getting taken to these places that are so much cooler than the places that I used to visit on my own. How would you deal with no friends? I moved to a country 4 years ago and is so much struggle. Dal, what are you into? Like what kind of friends do you want? What things would you do with your friends if you had friends? So I can't communicate well, but my job requires me to cold call. How can I get over the anxiety and the energy drain because of it? My body stops me even though I know how to do it. Ah, okay, my friend. So there's a lot of little things that you can do. The main thing, the overarching thing is like the way you get better at sales and get over anxiety and all that stuff is just by doing it. So what you could do is you could shift your focus rather than I'm calling to get a sale. Say I'm making 100 calls. I'm trying to get 100 people to say no to my sale. And what that will do eventually is it takes the pressure off of you getting a successful sale and puts some pressure on you to just make the calls and get through it. Because eventually, what you're going to realize is like, after you do enough calls, you're not afraid of calling people or people rejecting you. So the real fear is not sales, you're really afraid of rejection. And the best way to get over rejection is to expose yourself to the rejection. Now, that being said, there's a lot of like repressurizing things you can do with your face. One of them is just plugging your nose and pushing or pulling. Same thing with the cheeks. That's going to help, like, basically your mind get out of the way a little bit. But experiment with that stuff. Yeah, cold calling is something that, again, it's like economy is not like if you need to, like, I don't have a sales team for the archive, guys. My sales is like me just telling you what's going on and saying that there's a link in my bio. And it's things are going very well. And because there's no sales strategy, it's just the product selling itself. So anyway, that's clever. I love that rejection therapy. Yeah, or like go to the mall and like go hit on 20 women or men, whatever you're into, with the goal of just getting to the 20. Because this is what a lot of people do. And I saw this at a motivational seminar, I guess you call it. He said, I need 2 volunteers. 2 people came up. To one person, he gave a deck of cards. To the other person, he gave a pen and a pencil. And he said, I want you to find me an ace out of the deck of cards, and I want you to draw me an ace. Go. Hardly 3 seconds went by. The guy with the pen and paper barely finished making the outline of the card. Meanwhile, the dude with the deck of cards just went like this, found the ace, and was like, I win. And so it was like, where are you drawing the ace when you need to just be like shuffling through? Not that this turns into like a sales seminar. Anyway, I love music production, DJing, and also spirituality stuff, but every time I try to connect, everybody seems so busy. I have a girlfriend, but no one else. Ah, doll, go to some events by yourself. What's preventing you from going to events by yourself? Thanks, really helpful. I'll try that. Psychedelic. Yeah, you're welcome. And again, it's like anything that's challenging you right now, there's a version of you that you can bring online in an instant that says, okay, how am I using this opponent to make myself stronger? You see this a lot in anime. In anime, there's always like one character who's like insane and is only like happy and feels alive when he's fighting someone that can actually kill him. Like you realize that life is so boring for most people, and that's why they're struggling. Like life is not stressful enough. For most people, life is not stressful enough. It's over inspiring. There's all this pressure to think and to do things, or not even do things, but just think about things, have good ideas, creativity, etc. But there's no, what do I do? And in the archive, what we're giving people an opportunity to do is use that stress. It's like, what do I do with my stress? Well, the reason you can't relax is because you're not on in the first place. And so it's like your experience of life is like this, when it actually could be like this if you just give yourself a little bit of training. Madara Uchiha really fits exactly. Yes. I love the anime drops, by the way, guys. And bro, and his, it's wild because that feeling, in a way, the bored with life, nothing's able to challenge me, drives a lot of the anime villains to villainy. It drives them to villainy. Which, not to say that everyone should be villains, but most people are trying to be the hero in their own life, and that's the reason their life is so terrible. Because a hero has no meaning if there's no villain. So you need to awaken the hero and the villain in your life. I guess I'm very shy. That's my main issue, but I have no problem doing stuff alone. I got you. Yeah, and what is your type, by the way, my friend? Um, yep, I worked in sales before, and they would say go for no. Friends can be hard. I've always struggled with friends. I've never disregard the. Oh, got you, Steven. I the more that I've matured, the more that I've got older, the less I'm desiring friends, and the more I'm desiring peers. This is something which is one of the reasons why I asked, like, what do you like to do? Because if you like to dance or do music, like, go be around people that do that better than you, and instead of looking for friendships, like, look for peers, look for people that you can learn from. That's something that's really important for me. Like, I don't do a lot of events or things, but when I know that my peers are going there, it's exciting for me because, again, there's not a lot of things that actually stress me out, but like being around people, my peers that are singing, that will stress me out. And I can actually use that stress to like make my own music. Hello from Spain, Jess. To the person struggling to make friends, I found that joining clubs of things I'm interested in helps. Yeah, there's like, and again, one of the reasons you might not be making friends is because you might be wanting peers and not friends. And this, because that's what I want. I don't want friends. Like friends are cool, but I'm friends with my peers. I'm friends with my teachers. Like friends for the sake of friends, honestly, again, sometimes it's kind of boring. So get real with your intention as well as like what do you want the friends for? Especially if you have a girlfriend, like what do you actually want the friends for? I'm in Italy and I want to find a spiritual group like you or some people that can support and grow. Hello, Italy. Hello, Spain. Eventually, me and my boy are going to do a world tour and we're going to go see everybody. Until then, though, something that can become helpful, especially if you're in like a devoid of friendship or you're wanting connection, is like instantly you can get access to a group of 200 people that are doing this work with me in the archive. You can connect with them, you can post forums, you can post about how challenging it is where you live and what you want to create. And the reason why that be helpful, even though it's like a virtual thing, is just because it's like, again, it's helping to challenge like what do you actually want friends for? Because if you want friends that are going to like go to the gym with you and train with you, if you're not willing to go to the gym and train by yourself, you're not going to find those people. And one of the things that we do in the archive, again, is we prompt you to look at the things that are challenging, confusing, hard, overwhelming, and we tell you, hey, shift the perspective. Look at these things as like training partners. Look at these as things that are going to make you stronger, as opposed to the thing that's constantly crushing you. And then we give you parallel exercises to do that, which, I'm going to do it again. I'm not going to look at comments. I'm going to look at the comments real quick. I'm not going to look at comments for the next couple minutes. So true, man. You really cleared my concepts. Yeah, and it's so much mind stuff. So real quick, guys, and if you're following with me, let's just take a break for the next 4 minutes, and we're all going to do this super simple eye exercise together. All you're going to do is look up, and then inhale your eyes to the right corner of your eye. Do it without raising your eyebrows. You can even take the pads of your fingers and just kind of like push your eyebrows down. And you're looking to just drive your eyes as far as you can into the upper right corner. We're going to be here for 2 minutes. You're going to be smelling with your nose, swallowing with your throat, and then blowing a cool stream of air like you're blowing a cup of hot tea. We're just going to do this for 2 minutes. This is going to drop everybody into their parasympathetic nervous system. This is the rest and digest. This is the relaxation. This is the part of you that doesn't have to do anything. This is the part of you that can just be. And this is something that you can access literally at any point in the day, because you never leave home without your eyes, right? Wonderful. So you can do this at any point in your day if you're feeling overworked, stressed out, because that is just, you're just spending too much time in first gear. You need to shift into another gear. This is the other gear that we have as human beings. Sympathetic is fight or flight. Parasympathetic is rest and digest. You have to be able to go back and forth between the two. Most people just want to stay and rest and digest, and what happens is they end up in fight or flight all the time because there's no spectrum. They avoid stress, and because of that, they're always stressed out and they're over inspired because the stress that they do have is not being channeled into anything at all. So you might notice some things about when you're driving your eyes upward and to the right, your face will tend to want to look towards the right. So you can even turn your head a little bit to the left, and you might feel like a little bit more strain on the eyes. If this makes you dizzy, great. If this makes you nauseous, even better. Again, these are the physical walls of resistance and the stress that you're avoiding, and it's showing up as not being able to make friends, being exhausted at work, etc. Fights with your significant other. Wonderful. Now, deep smell, swallow. Now, as you exhale, you're going to bring your eyes back to center. Still looking up. And then on this next smell, drive them to the left. Again, do this without raising your eyebrows. You can even like pull your eyebrows down with your fingers. And you're not trying to look up there. You're trying to like get the eyeballs to go as far as you can. Think of it like clay or ice. You're like shaving off the edges of the ice or the igloo. You're shaping your vision. And this is not a position that people will spend much time in. Most people spend their eyes are in the lower half of their vision and usually right in front of them. And so this is just giving your body an opportunity to get comfortable with not needing to look at what's right in front of you. Even as I'm talking, some of you might whip your eyes back to the screen and you're like, oh, wow, I did that automatically. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of things that happen in your system that are automatic, but the reason they're automatic is because you haven't trained yourself. You haven't trained your body what to do with that stimulus. And you can see, like I can see the screens with my peripheral vision. I can't read any comments if there are any comments coming through. So I'm noticing my head start to go to the left. I'm going to turn my head to the right, making that feels like even more of a stretch or more of a strain. And this is uncomfortable sometimes. This is how you get over running away when things are uncomfortable. This is how you build a robust nervous system. This is how you create emotional integrity, and this is how you override overthinking. You override overthinking with feeling and sensation. All right, smell, swallow. You're doing that the whole time, by the way. If you haven't, that's okay, but that's something you're doing the whole time. Cool stream of air, bring the eyes back to the center. Keep your eyes up, then close your eyes. And then open your eyes again. Now, if your eyes are looking forward and you weren't still looking up, again, another one of those automatic sort of things that happens because you're not training your body what to do. If you give your body the specific training, and again, this is not some new system that I invented. This is the human body. People have been doing this for a long time, but they haven't been relating it exactly the way that we have, which is sort of the nuanced thing that we're doing. How do you handle paranoia during ascension? You just like that. Like your soul is not afraid. It's your mind that's afraid. The reason you're getting paranoia during your ascension process is because your mind thinks that you're dying. And if your mind is in the driver's seat most of the time, that's why the paranoia is stopping you from actually descending. And I would say also that the way that you avoid paranoia during ascension is you practice descending. You practice getting more into the body. Enough with ascension. Ascension is not, it's not the answer. Feeling dizzy, nice, yeah. So whoever, for anyone did that, these exercises always hurt a bit. Great, great. Because it's like, there's a difference between the hurt that's like damaging your body and the hurt that's like healing your body. Like a massage hurts, right? Sometimes my daughter is so cute, it hurts. And this is the thing, is not learning how to differentiate between those two things means what? Exposure to hurt, exposure to discomfort. And again, not where it's like, all right, I want you to like, blow yourself out. It's quite literally the opposite. It's like, I want you to learn how to like build the pressure up. So how do I get in your team again? So the for anyone that wants to do more of those exercises, the archive is the membership that you're looking for, and the link for that is in the bio. You can also go to reikimarco.com, and it's at the bottom of the page there. Is it weird that I noticed that I was having an anxiety attack because now I feel so calm? Yes. I mean, it's not weird. It's actually totally normal, because that's the whole point of this is, again, you can't relax if you're not stressed out. And if you're not stressed out, you can't relax. And most people are avoiding stress, and so they never actually get an opportunity to relax because they're never stressed out, so there's nowhere else to go. So when we go on an intense emotion, we should dig into it. Yes, exactly. That's what people are missing about emotions. People are looking at emotions and they're saying, oh my God, if so-and-so sees this, they're going to think I'm crazy. And it's like, you're right. That's why you don't let them see it. Instead of going to them for help or asking them for regulation, you figure out how to regulate yourself. So that way, when they see the emotion, you've already regulated it to a degree. You've already cried it. You've already done it. One of the worst things to do with raw emotion, in my opinion, is to let somebody else figure it out for you, rather than taking it and being like, oh my God, I'm sad. That's when I'm sad or when I'm angry, there's part of me that's like in it, like any other human being. But then there's also a part of me that's like, oh my God, something matters enough to me that I care, that this is like actually dysregulating me. I get so excited about that stuff. And then what do? I lay down right here and I put a big rock on my chest, or I'll lay on a ball and I'll like saturate my spine, and then I cry my titties off. My very small pecs, I will cry my titties off. Hello from Germany. What's up, Germany? Rhinesweed. I usually don't get too many Twitch streamers on here. But anyway, I'll do this before cold calls. Yeah, this is a great thing to do before cold calls. Because, again, there's not so much of a resistance to something if you're actually calm. Make sense? Your mind is focused on something. Your mind is trying to solve problems. So if you're focused on something too much, your mind is trying to figure out all the ways that this could go wrong. If you're relaxed approaching something, your mind's not busy figuring out everything that could go wrong in this situation. And things usually go better because a lot of your mind will influence reality and the way that your body works. So anyway, I feel like grieving is the best thing you can do for your family lineage. 100%. Everyone's trying to heal their family lineage, but they don't want to grieve their family lineage. And it's like, you know how much unprocessed grief there is in your family lineage? And do you know how healing that is to grieve? Thank you for today. I need to walk, or it's near bedtime for me. Sending joy. Much love from the Netherlands. Yes. Blessings on your walk. Enjoy, enjoy. Speaking of which, I gotta get. This is actually, I have a calendar that reminds me of when I have sessions, and I have a session with someone that I love very much coming up soon, and so I'm gonna actually close this live down. Thank you guys. This was probably one of my favorite lives that I've done. I always say that. Um, I just live in the present moment, man. Um, no, every time I do one of these lives, Marco, learn something about myself, about how to share this information. And that's like my ultimate goal is to learn how I'm learning so that I can help other people learn. Because even though we all have unique human designs, we're all physically, generally very much the same. You know, afferent feedback, we get information in, processing, swallowing all the ganglias, all of the contractions, pressure, and heat to cook and process that, and then efferent feedback, which is the biomechanics of it. And so, yeah, just want to say, if you got something out of this live, I want to invite you to follow me. If you want to work with me more, you can visit my website. I've got a bunch of stuff there. I would recommend that anybody who feels inspired or felt physically something shift in them during this, come check out the archive. It's $37 a month or $333 for the entire year. You get like 2-3 months for free if you go with that pricing. Um, I can confidently say that if you spend 18 months in the archive and you give it your best, which means that sometimes, maybe you don't get every class, or maybe there's a week or two that you fall off. But I mean, give it your best, like every day you do the most that you can. In 18 months, you won't even recognize yourself. And I mean that physically and mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically. But physically, and you'll see what I mean if you go into the archive, or even if you go and view some of my posts. There's a couple like transformations in there that we share, of people posting progress. Like, this is day 0, and this is 90 days later, and the transformations are wild. So anyway, guys, this has been awesome. Like I said, anything that you guys need from me or want from me, you can find it via the links in my bio. Reikimarco.com is my website. And we also have a class later today in about, 2.5 hours? At 1 p.m. Hawaii time. We have a sensory design class. So if you want to experience what the live classes are like, get signed up in the archive. You'll get an email. Make sure you have your email typed in right, because some people have been typing their emails in wrong and they're not getting emails. But anyway, if you want to join class today, you can do that pretty quickly. Just get signed up for the archive. And thank you. Good night from India. Much love to you from India, all around the world, guys. This is so cool. I really love this. Really, really love this. Thank you guys so much again. I go live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, by the way, at 9 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. So if you want to tune in again, follow and turn notifications on or something. I love you guys. And for my archive people, I will be seeing you soon. Cheers.